Hi guys, this is Ethan Bobbins. We're going to be doing a tutorial on flashing your Vega today. What we're going to be going through is restoring it to a 1.10 modified stock ROM and then flashing a custom ROM on top of it. So the 1.10 ROM lets you flash things like the new Vega comb and also gives you a bit more space for some of the older ROMs. I'm going to put a link in the doobly-doo below for the files we're going to need. There's a few prerequisites, if you will. You're going to need the modified 1.10 stock ROM. You're going to need a ROM of your choosing for later, which I'll put the link to my three favourite ones, which is Modico's R8, Corvus 5, and of course Vega comb. You're also going to need the drivers, which I'll put a link to on there, which is from the Advent Vega site. You'll need that to install it. I'll go through installing it from scratch on the PC, so of course you'll need a PC as well. You'll need your Vega comb data cable, which is the one that looks like this, so it's the same both ends. You'll need a micro SD card, like this. Doesn't really matter what size, as long as it is one of these. So can't really focus, but you'll see that's a 4 gig. The one I'm using in my Vega at the minute is a 16. Doesn't matter what size, as long as you've got enough space on there for your ROM. So all you're going to need to copy to your memory card. There's no extra files or commands we need to send to it. It's just going to be the ROM. It's the bonus with the 1.10 modified stock ROM is it comes pre-rooted and it comes with Clockwork mod installed. And optionally you can get one of these, which is a micro SD to full SD card. So you can pop your Vega's memory card into it and put it into a memory card reader just to copy over things like your ROM or any of the files you want to copy over, but for this case we just want to copy the ROM. Occasionally this can be quicker and a little bit less hassle than the cable, but this one's just optional, you don't really need this. So what I'm going to do is jump over to the PC and go through installing the driver. The only thing you'll need to do for this is that you'll see that's going to happen off camera is this is going to be plugged into the Vega. As soon as it is, it's going to pop up on the screen and let us know what's going on. So we'll hop over to the PC and we'll do that now. Okay, so we're on the PC now. I'm just going to plug in the Vega, and that should take a few seconds, and then it should pop up in the bottom right hand corner saying trying to install drivers. Okay, there it goes, it's trying to install the first part of the drivers. The only part it will be able to install, if we click on that pop-up, is the Tegra 2 USB device. This is basically the USB mode for the SD reader. So it's the only part of it actually finds. It's the Harmony board it doesn't find. So what we'll do, we'll give it a few seconds to try and realise it can't find them. If we click skip as well, it stops it looking online for a second. And it should pop up again in a second saying no device found, or no driver found even. Okay, and it's finally decided it can't find a driver. So what we'll do, we'll have to install this manually. So if I hit close on there, right click my computer, go to manage. If you've got UAC enabled, you will have to click yes on this to see it. I've not got it turned on my computer at the moment, so it should just pop up, and I'll just drag it across and resize it so we can see everything that's going on. Okay, so if we click on device manager, and then we should see an unknown device called NVIDIA Harmony. So if we right click and then update device driver, update driver software, sorry, click browse and then browse again and find our drivers. I've got one on my desktop, so go down to the USB folder and hit OK. Now this has got 32-bit and 64-bit drivers in there, so it'll detect and install whichever. If you get this pop-up, just click install this software anyway, and that's it installed. So it's all installed and ready to be used. So it's the Android Debug Bridge interface. This is for ADB and things like that. So if we close this down, right, on the Vega, what we need to do now is turn it off and put it into MV flash mode. So you do this by turning it off, then hold down power and back at the same time, and then take your finger off power while still holding back. And with the USB cable connected, we should see it pop up in a second in the bottom right hand corner saying it's going to install extra drivers. Now these drivers were part of the package we just installed, so it's fine, we don't have to reinstall any or anything like that. It should just pick it up as normal. So we'll give it a few seconds to pick them up. And there it goes, it's trying to install the extra drivers. If we can click on the pop-up, we should see it's going to install a bit of a random name device. It's going to be called an AET something, APX, sorry. So it'll do the same thing as before. It'll search Windows updates. It probably won't find them, as it's already got the driver package installed. So, okay, and now it's installing it from the pre-configured. So you can see it's called an NVIDIA USB boot recovery driver. That's fine. That's what we need it to do. Now we've installed that, we can go ahead and click on the modded stock ROM, and that'll pop up a little DOS window. Yep, hit run and drag it across. It'll extract itself to a temporary space and get rid of itself once it's finished. It's basically uninstalling, it's extracting the boot image, the system image, and things like that. So you'll see here it's pushing the files across. If you see USB device not found, it basically means your Vega's not connected properly and you're not in flash mode. So just try it again and you'll get there. It does take a few attempts to get it in there sometimes. Now, while this is all going on the Vega, you'll just see one line of text saying in NV flash mode or something like that. So we'll quickly whiz through this, and the Vega will then reboot and just show you a little green Android. At that point, it'll turn off. All you'll need to do then is just turn it back on, and it'll boot straight up into the original modded stock ROM, which looks exactly the same as the original, but with a few slight tweaks. Like it's already got rooted, and it's already got Clockwork mod installed, so we don't have to install anything else after this. It's just this, and then that's it. No messing around with extra files or sending extra files to it or lines of code. It's pretty much done after this. So it's finished sending the system image, and that's it done. So all we have to do now is click enter on here, and the Vega will reboot and shows a little green Android. Okay, that's it's sorted out on that end, and it's turned off to a black screen. So we'll jump over back to the Vega, and we'll carry on from there. Okay, so we're recording on the Vega again now, so I'll just hit power and turn it back on. This is the only screen you'll see once the NV flash is completed, and the screen will turn off. When you first boot it up again, it's just like turning it on as if you just bought it, the Vega again. The only difference being, this is rooted and has Clockwork mod installed, so we don't have to go through the process of rooting it and installing all the backup software and all the flashing software. We don't have to bother with any of that. It's all built into the ROM, so it's a very, very quick way of doing it. So once this is booted, we'll see the lovely Vega original boot screen. We'll head off into recovery mode, which is already pre-installed on this. So you can see there we've got the massive title bar at the top. So we'll skim through the usual settings on here. So UK, scroll to the bottom of this, hit agree, next, and finish. Okay, that's just finishing up its last little bits, and then we should be good to go into recovery mode. So okay, we've got USB connected, so at this point you can hit turn on USB storage, copy over those files that you need. So remember, you've got to pick one ROM out of the list below. If you want Vega, choose the Vega 1.7. If you want Corvus 5, pick that. If you want Monaco R8, pick that one, or any other ROM you want to try on here, as long as it's compatible. So I'm going to be flashing Vega 1.7, as it's the most requested one I get. So we turn on USB storage, hit OK. That should show up on our PC. So on our PC we'd see a pop-up box with it connected. So I'm just going to quickly go handheld for that. So you can see here we've got our pop-up with our memory card. So we click open, and on the root of the SD card, which is what this is here, you'll see right at the bottom there, Vega 1.7. So if that's something you want, that's fine. If you want a different one, copy it onto this memory card, and then back on the Vega. Once we've closed that down, we'll jump back on here, hit turn off, and then you're good to go for the next stage. So all we need to do is go into menu, then see here we've got the recovery kicker pre-installed, so we'll hit that. Then we'll go into Clockwork mod, which is already pre-installed as part of the stock 1.10 ROM, which does make life a lot easier. You can hear the PC beeping away in the background. That's because I've still got the USB cable connected. That's fine. Any time around now you can disconnect it. That's fine. So we'll pop it out. And there we go, so we're just running on just the Vega now. So we go through the usual bombs, which is volume down to wipe cache and hit power, and then volume down to yes. And the same again, we do a wipe data and factory reset, and down to yes. This one can take a few seconds. This is basically just to prepare the partitions for flashing. You can probably do it without doing these, but you tend to have better success with it working right if you do. So we'll do Delvic as well, which is under advanced, and then we'll go back just by hitting the back button to install from an SD card, or install from SD card. Then choose zip from SD card, and then we'll scroll right to the bottom or hit up. You'll see right at the bottom there we've got our Vega ROM, or whichever one you've chosen, and then we hit power, and then down to install Vega Beta 1.7, or whichever name you've picked, and hit OK. Try not to knock your Vega over, of course. Now we'll go through the install process. Now the Vega one's a little bit different. You don't see really much of what's going on, so it will just say created by Team Nuco and Team Villain, and then it will whiz through. I'll just show you the last line. This can take a few seconds to go through, and then we'll go back to the menu share to reboot it. Okay, so that took around 30 seconds, and then it just whizzed through that last little bit there. So the only message you'll see is all done, enjoy Vega Newbie 5, and then install from SD card complete. So we'll hit the back button to get back to the main menu, and then we'll hit reboot. In theory this should reboot us to the Vega boot screen, not the Android screen we did have before, and that should verify a successful flash. So we'll give it a few seconds to kick in, which it can take a little bit longer as it's first run. The screen should dip, and it should come on with the Vega exploding menu animation thingy. Okay, there we go. So fingers crossed it will boot up, and we'll see the, yep, there we go, the Android B for Honeycomb. So that's how you flash back to a modified stock ROM, and then up to any other modified ROM you want to go to. So if you didn't want Vega, you wanted Corvus 5, follow the entire process apart from putting the Corvus 5 zip on your SD card. Now, like I say, I'll have a link to my top 3 in the box below, so you guys can pick one. All the links for the drivers, the links for the modded stock ROM, all going to be in the box below, all going to be in the right order for you to pick from. So you should be able to grab all the bits and bobs you need, run through the process on the video, and you'll be up and running with a modified ROM. If you do have any problems with black screening, there is an extra tool I'll link to as well in the box below called Vega Tools, which is over on Modico, which has a little tick box that fixes the black screen reboot issue, which basically means if you don't see anything other than a black screen for 5-10 minutes, your flash has gone a bit wrong and you need that to kick it back out. It's a very quick tool to use. If you guys need any help with it, leave me a comment and I'll do a separate video on it if you need me to. But as always, if you've got any comments, leave them in the box below. If you need to know anything else about this video, hit me with an inbox or leave another comment. If you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to, hit subscribe. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.